Stop what you're doing right now. Wait. Hit the like button for me. I appreciate it if you hit the like button. Enjoy this video. So, you saw how I cut the little parts using the miter gauge on the table saw. Here's another way you could do it with a table saw sled. This is a sled, all right, rides in your miter track of your saw. You got to cut little parts. Again, you just here we go. Set a stop. This is my stop. Clamped, right? Whatever. Measure it. Set it. Right? It's going to get a little loud. Right? Your hands are over here. Right? The piece is tracked. Here's your stop. The piece is registered against your stop. Right? Turn it on. And it doesn't move. Alright? The part doesn't move anywhere because, you know, you're doing this motion, right? You're just going ahead and coming right back. And it's fine. You can cut tiny little parts this way. Within reason, okay? Make sure what you're cutting from is long enough that you're holding back here, all right? You don't want to hold over here because the table saw is passing through, and yeah, you don't want to cut your hand off. So that's another way to cut small little parts, right? Let's go and show you on the miter saw how to do them. So your miter saw, you have a fence and you have a stop. This is a stop. This is a small piece. So I'm going to show you what not to do, okay, and what happens when you do it, all right? Do not do this, okay? This is what happens when you cutting small pieces and you don't, when you make your cut, you don't stop your saw before you pick it up, all right? Again, back here is a no-go, all right? This is no zone, man. It's not good for small parts. You saw what happened. That little part came back in here, and it's not safe, all right? Whether or not that saw shut off or not, and I'm going to show you something else. So you get that stop out of the way, and you make yourself a sled, little sled, miter sled. It's got to be at least, I'd say 3/4 and 3/4. Could be 5/8 because you're cutting into it. So you don't want something too thin that, you know, you come out the back. So 5/8 would be a minimum for the bottom, 3/4 for the back. All it is glued on, nothing else. Make sure it's square, okay? I put it, you see I have a lot of different cuts in it. So the nice thing about it is two, right? Two things are great about this type of a thing. You make a mark on your material, right? And you just line it up, right? This is what you want. This is your waist. So you just line up that mark because you know that your saw is going to cut right here, and this is good, and waist, okay? Like this. See that little part? Didn't go nowhere, all right? And then what you could do, two things you could do, and one thing I would not do, is put a block stop here, because then you're trapping the piece between the stop and the blade, and you need to stop the saw every time that you cut little parts. So what you could do is measure your distance that you need, make a mark, and then just bring your piece to that mark every time. This accuracy is only as good as your accuracy, okay? Repeating where you're coming to all the same time. So at most, what are you going to be off? A pencil line. I don't know how big that is. 30-second, a hair. I don't know. Forgot to go through. Boom. So it's really simple. This little attachment, this little sled thing for your miter saw is great for little parts, bigger parts, anything. I mean, obviously, you know, it has limits, but you could just make it bigger, okay? Nothing's going to fall back. Nothing is going to get trapped. It's just a safe way to cut little parts. Nothing's going to go flying away and maybe hit you, hit something, hit somebody else. So one of these little attachments, little sleds out of scrap for your miter saw are safe ways to cut small pieces on your miter saw. Do not try to cut small pieces without some type of some guys just put a plywood piece back here, screw it on, and now you have a continuous fence, basically like this, right? And it keeps pieces from going this way, all right? Another way to do it. I don't do that, all right? So I tried that before, and it works fine. It's no problem. But I just like this little sled. So this process goes pretty fast, all right? And this is the key to it going fast, right? Having your work that needs to be done on one side of you, do it, put it over there when it's done, do the next process, put it in the box. Goes by pretty fast, all right? It's, you know, I can't, most of you guys, you know, aren't into production work, and you don't care about how fast you get something done. In this environment, time is money, right? And yeah, I mean, you just try to do the minimal amount of work and time. Not a lot of unnecessary movements. Everything's right there. You're not looking for nothing. Clamping down your jig is a huge thing. You're not fighting with this thing. Oops, sorry. You're not fighting with this every time, you know. Look, I'm not fighting with it at all. So, clamping things down, whether it's something like this, or you're sanding a piece, you know, you're sanding a piece, you're holding it, you're trying to hold it, and you're sanding it with a sander, clamp it down. It's much easier. You wear yourself out with all these extra steps. So now I'm doing pocket holes in the legs. What I like to do, I'm just like a uniform dude. I like to keep everything the same. So what I do is gang them up, get a square, make sure they're all even, and then I start marking. And then what I do is just, instead of marking each one, right, I just take my square, I mark one and then I carry it across. You understand me? Carry it across. And it just keeps everything uniform. I measure once and that's it. Instead of, you got 20 pieces, you're sitting there measuring each one. Don't do that. You're wasting your time. Take a little time and do this, and your job will go faster. Hey, what's this glove? It's an impact glove. I use it a lot when I'm sanding or doing something repetitive. It's got a padded palm. It really saves your hand if you're doing a lot. So let me tell you something. I'm not perfect. I'm going to share with you. I got my list, right? These are all my parts that need to be pocket holed. And I came across my legs and realized that I didn't cut enough of them because I just marked something down wrong. And so I had to cut some more. Everybody makes mistakes, okay? And just get over it and carry on. Carry on, my wayward son. So just, it's going to get a little loud. And it's this repetitive stuff that really the glove helps your hand. Pushing down on this lever all the time. That's it. Yeah. Pushing down on this lever, it hurts your hand. And I'm drilling a lot of pocket holes. A ton of them. I don't know, probably 300-400 or more. So it's a lot, and it helps it go faster when your body doesn't hurt. It's important to take care of your body. So